right. My name is Saira Embra. Welcome to another episode of Citations. I've missed you all so much. There has been some hiccups with recording the podcast, finding a good host, and all that good stuff. But we're back and better. I have some goodies and surprises for you nearing the end of the episode, but I wanted to jump right in. Today we're going to talk about quantum physics. Really diving into lately metaphysics, which essentially means beyond the physical realm. And the more that I dive into this rabbit hole of metaphysics, the more I realize that what we see with our two eyes is just a sliver of what actually exists. Have you ever thought, what is matter? What is this existence that we all live? What is this life? What gives it all meaning? How does it really work? Lately, I've been feeling a strong shift to dive deeper into the spiritual realm as the true reality, while physicality is secondary. And I've realized that as humans, we've been looking at the 3D physical world as the cause, when it's actually the effect mirrored from the quantum. So when I say that, like the effect, when we look at the cause of something, we're looking at its origination point. When we look at the effect, that is its secondary, tertiary, etc. point. So if the 3D world is actually the effect, then what or who is the cause? Maybe the answer will be revealed to you a little bit later. So if reality is a mirror, what is this mirror reflecting? Well, the physical universe is the mirror that reflects the world of potentiality that is found in the void, darkness, nothingness. This void is the nothingness of an atom. And that's where it all begins. Let's dive into this world of quantum physics, which I believe truly is the link between science and the spiritual world. So in today's episode, we will talk about what is quantum physics, the quantum field, the nature of atoms, which are the building blocks of the universe, who is the observer, and the control that each of us possess as spiritual beings having this human experience. So what exactly is quantum physics? Quantum physics is the scientific study and observation that everything in this universe is connected. The nature of our reality is much more fluid and mysterious than it seems. It delves into the idea that our consciousness influences the universe so greatly that it can affect matter. This aligns with the concept of interconnectedness and the nature of existence. And this interconnectedness, or all is one, is something that I've touched on in my YouTube channel and even on the blog, and I'll link those posts in the description below. But let's keep things simple. So there's three main principles of quantum physics that really exemplify what the quantum is and how it interacts and behaves. So the first is wave-particle duality. So at the most basic level, particles like electrons and photons can act both like a particle and like a wave. So this means that they can sometimes behave as discrete objects with a defined pinpoint position, and other times They can exhibit wave-like behaviors, just like the ocean, because waves have interference and diffraction. Another principle of quantum physics is probability in wave functions. So instead of predicting exact outcomes, quantum mechanics deals more with probabilities. What is the most probable outcome or the most probable experience that these particles will have? And so the state of a particle is described as the wave function, which we talked about earlier. And the thing is that with waves, these are just multiple probabilities of finding a certain particle at a specific location or state. So I like to think of this wave theory, probability, wave particle functions, all these concepts. Yes, they may seem high level, but if we distill them down to waves in the ocean, so every time a wave is crashing on to the shore, onto the sand, we don't necessarily know, as the observer, we don't know how far this wave is going to come in until it's there. And we don't know how far the tide is going to come in until it hits the shoreline. And so this gives the waves the possibility and the probability to exist at any point from when the wave began and the shore that it's about to hit. This is where the observer effect comes in, which is the third principle we're going to talk about a little bit more. So the act of measurement, this is the observer effect. The act of measurement affects the system being observed. The act of measurement affects the system being observed. So what you measure is going to be influenced by you actually measuring it. So how can we believe that anything that we measure is accurate or true? Well, that's the thing. Everything that we measure is going to be influenced by the simple fact that we're measuring it. So this was observed by the double slit experiment. And when I first found out about the double slit experiment, it actually wasn't in grade school. It was when I watched this movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? And so the double slit experiment is essentially the cornerstone to helping us understand quantum reality. And this is where a scientist observed, multiple scientists, observed an electron that could change its behavior when it was being observed by collapsing the wave function that we talked about a little bit earlier. And the wave function being that electrons can, or better said, particles can act as a particle or a wave at any given moment. And by observing what this particle is about to do, it actually shifts what the particle would do anyway. I know. Yeah, hold on. We're getting there. So the quantum field. We talked about the three key aspects of quantum physics as a study. But the quantum field is actually the energetic grid that permeates every aspect of our life. The quantum field is the field of potentiality in the universe. Have you ever watched that movie, The Multiverse, with Doctor Strange? Essentially, the multiverse is a different word for the quantum field. This is options and possibilities and probabilities that could happen in the universe at any given time and are most likely happening simultaneously. So back to the ocean, I like to think of this quantum field as an invisible ocean that fills up all of space. And these particles are like tiny waves in the ocean that pop in and out of existence. But ultimately, the ocean continues to exist and persist. This quantum field is essentially the ultimate backdrop where all quantum events and interactions happen. Even you listening to this podcast as I speak, or technically after I speak, is you finding me in the quantum field by resonating with the frequency that I'm sharing and putting out in the world. And so this field has many probabilities and possibilities. So, like, you could have the probability, i.e., the possibility of buying a car or a truck, or the probability of having a loving partner or a self-hating partner, the probability of dental school or becoming an ESL teacher. The possibilities are so vast in this lifetime, in this universe, that our belief in one probability over another literally collapses them into matter. I'll say that again. Our belief in one probability over another literally collapses them into matter. Your mind may be going, no way. Things are the way they are. I have no control over anything. But is that really true? Let's bring our attention back to our breath. Breathe in deeply and out. As you're listening to this, you are breathing. It's a fair assumption. And now that you are aware of your breath, your breathing pattern has changed. Next, I would like you to hold your breath. Hold. And release. You controlled your breathing pattern, which you weren't consciously aware of just a few minutes ago. You have the ability to control through your observation. This is the nature of the quantum field. Yes, things are happening in the background. Your breathing mechanism is highly subconscious. But when your conscious mind grabs hold of your breathing pattern, now you're more aware of it. You have the ability to control through your own observation. So what else can we observe and what else can we control through our observation via conscious awareness? That's the question. And that will take us to the next step of materialization or manifestation, which is something that, we all are desiring to do on this planet as a species, as individuals, as groups and cultures, as societies, as countries, all that. So let's break it down a little bit more and let's talk about the nature of atoms. So atoms are the building blocks of our universe. Remember in grade school when we learned about neutrons and protons and electrons, plus the fact that everything that matters, pun intended, is made of them. Upon closer observation to the nature of the atom, it's clear that these particles are not fully solid matter. Instead, electrons are actually orbiting around the central neutron, and the atom is more like a neutron. So let's bring it back. Okay. So we were told, as the Newtonian type of classical atom that was shared with us in grade school, that there's a little center neutron and there's electrons orbiting around this center neutron. However, from a quantum perspective, a quantum physics point of view, it's actually more so a nucleus. That neutron is in the center, and there's an electron cloud, not electron particles. The reason why this matters is because the electron cloud is not necessarily matter. It's essentially nothing, but this cloud gives potentiality. This majority of nothingness is pure potential energy. So if the atom is actually more so a quantum atom, which is a cloud, which is nothingness, which nothingness is pure potential energy, and our entire 3D world is made up of these building blocks called atoms. What we see around us with our physical eyes are simply 0.0000001% matter. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. I know, like, I absolutely am obsessed with science. I have studied it my entire life, and learning about quantum physics literally blows my mind every single time. So what this means is that every single atom has more potentiality than actual stuff. So the microphone that I'm speaking through now is more pure potentiality. However, I'm observing it as a microphone, so it's a microphone. The desk that the microphone is sitting on is pure potentiality, but I'm observing it as a desk and in the color that it is, and so it is. If that's really what's happening, we are a lot more powerful than we believe ourselves to be and have been told that we are. And so a great way to get the physical the picture and the difference between the classical atom and the quantum atom is directly from Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. Phenomenal read. I'll put a link in the description, but also you can go to my blog post on this very topic and you can check out the pictures there. That was really, really helpful to just visualize it. So now let's get to the fun part, the observer effect. If a tree falls in the forest with no one to hear it at all, no one can hear it fall, does it make a sound? If a tree falls in the forest with no one to hear it fall, does it make a sound? The answer is no. The fall will create a vibration. But if there is no one to interpret the vibration into sound, then no sound is made. That is the apparatus of the universe. This is the key, a major key. Everything has form and exists simply because of interpretation and observation. Everything has form and exists because of interpretation and observation. So who is the one interpreting? Who is the one observing? And that leads us back to you, to me. Your conscious awareness of a person, a place, or a thing brings them into tangible existence. Remember the double slit experiment? Where atoms moved as particles while being observed and waves when there was no observation? Since these atoms are the building blocks of the universe, quite literally nothing exists without your conscious observation. So if the universe or the world around you needs your observation to exist, you are the master key. You are the master key. So if you're the master key, let's dive into the power that you and I possess. Unlocking this power to your inner key system begins by acknowledging the truth of your observation power. When you go on a quick shopping trip to your favorite place, like Target, your house collapses when you are out observing, i.e., shopping at Target. Because you're not observing your house, you're now observing a new physical location. That physical location begins to exist, and your house collapses because you're not observing it. So this means you are the one that brings life. You bring the life into your life. You bring the power into your life simply by your conscious awareness. Your consciousness is the light that permeates the darkness of unconsciousness. Whatever you say goes. Whatever you observe is what is. This puts the power back in our hands. This understanding illuminates the truth that permeates this entire universe. And this is where free will comes in. We can choose what we observe. We can choose to observe what supports us, what builds us up, what confirms our abundance. There's a light right inside of each and every one of us. And this light shines brighter when illuminated with the wisdom of our true soul's nature. And when we tap into this true nature, by becoming still, our intuition is able to speak to us and through us. I personally love to tap into my truer nature, my higher self, through meditation. And if you would like to align with the different meditative practices that I have experienced in some ancient thought on meditation and this alchemy process, I'll link in the description the e-guide on how to meditate like a goddess, which is my book. I have shared it with many of my Reiki clients, and it has just confirmed the power that meditation can have on your life. And so I'm so glad that you came with me down this little metaphysical rabbit hole. We're going to be diving more into quantum concepts and perception of realities more and more as time goes on, because this is a pervasive truth that not only corroborates ancient traditions, but also spiritual and religious thought, and even intuitive knowing of the ancient chosen ones. And so as I learn more, I will share more. I'm so grateful for you. And the super special, the super special announcement that I have for you is that my blog is officially up. I'm going to be consistently posting podcasts from now on, since I have all the tech that I need in position. And so I'm really grateful for you just being here and continuing to support me on my journey, but also allowing me to support you on your journey. We're all spiritual beings having this human experience, and while I dive into and express more of my inner divinity, I'm grateful that you're giving me the opportunity to give you tools to do the same. And so I recently moved out to Southern California. So if you're out in Southern California, you can meet up with me in person for either Reiki sessions or even some yoga slow flows that I love to do on the beach or in nature, say parks or recreational centers. And so if you're in SoCal, check out my website. You can always book a one-on-one or be on the lookout for some group sessions that I do out here. But besides that, I'm so grateful for you. Peace. Till the next one.
I honor God when I